Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Dadas Show, coming to you from Siala Resorts here in Kisumu. I'm your host, Ashiko Mbune. As our name suggests, the Dadas Show aspires to create and promote the spirit of sisterhood by creating a safe and open platform for women to discuss issues pertaining to their health, their lifestyle, their family, their careers, and everything that pertains to their livelihoods. Now, in the spirit of inclusion and equality, the Dadas Show has traveled to the lakeside city of Kisumu. For the next few episodes, we shall be focusing on issues affecting women and girls in this particular region. Now, in light of the August 2022 general polls that obviously saw an increase in female participation, both in aspirant and in electorate capacity, we shall meet a few ladies who have clinched political office in the region and find out what their plans are for members of their constituents, and more importantly, what are their plans for women and girls in their respective regions. Of course, we encourage you at home to take part in this and every other conversation by going on all our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. As always, we look forward to answering your questions. We want to hear from you. We welcome your feedback and your criticism and everything that pertains to this show and any other episode we've done before. But before we jump into today's topic, let's take a look at the following feature.
History of women political leadership of Kisumu County has been minimal ever since 1963, with a slight increase in the just concluded election. Since Grace Onyango in 1969, the 7th constituency that make up Kisumu have consistently elected male members of parliament. Grace Onyango, who was the first elected woman MP in the East and Central Africa, served for one term. In the just concluded general election held on 9th August 2022, history was rewritten when Honorable Rosa Buyu was elected to serve as Member of Parliament for Kisumu West. Buyu defeated her opponent Olago Aluoch, who has served for 3 terms, to become the second woman to be elected Member of Parliament in Kisumu since independence. Many believe when you have more women in position of authority, decisions that are made are more accommodative and get the views of both genders.
Mara mingi mwanamke akifika pale atakuwa na ile roho ya utu. Atafika pale atafute jinsi anaweza saidia kiye mwenyewe ndio afikiane kulingana na serikali inaweza saidia. So mimi naona uongozi ya mwanamke ni poa sana. Hata tukiangalia kule Tanzania, kwa kweli wanajiishi poa kwa sababu yule mwanadada mwenye anawaongoza ana ile roho ya utu na apendi pia kuendaenda hivi because mwanamke unajua hata kitamba ende hivi kikona kona utakuta amefikiria mara mbili. Ni mtu mwenye si rahisi aende kikona kona. Na tena ni mtu mwenye ni mzazi. Unajua mzazi haizi dhulumu mtoto. Na ukichukua mtu kama huyo mpeo akuwe president ya nchi, utakuta yeye hata tudhulumu kwa sababu yeye ametuzaa na yeye ndiye anatuchunga. Sasa hizi tudhulumu.
Mimi kama mwanamke naweza votia mwanamke mwenzangu kwa sababu sisi kama wanawake tunaelewana. First, mwanamke hata kwa pale nyumbani unapata mwanamke analeta some changes kama that cool environment kwa nyumba. Hakuna that authoritative venye wanaume wako. So when you have a problem, kama uko na shida, it's easier to approach your fellow woman.
Uongozi wa wanawake tushaona wengi. Ukienda hapa Homa Bay tuko na mwanamke. Tangu aingie hata haijamaliza miezi 3. Gladys Wanga onyesha kwamba anaweza. Kwa hivyo tunaweza kuencourage wanawake pia wajitokeze. Yes. Na wengi hapa tuko na mwanamke pia alikuwa uongozini kwa ile serikali ilipita. Ako sahi tena kwa serikali. Ukiona vile eneo ile alikuwa ikiongoza, you can see the difference kulingana na wanaume wenye walikuwa awali. Kwa hivyo wanawake pia wapewe jukumu ya kuongoza.
The just concluded general election attracted a good number of women vying with the aim of wanting to change the perception of women representation from a passive to an active one. Kenya is trailing at number 18 in Africa when it comes to women representation in parliament with 19.7%.
Welcome back. Joining me to discuss today's topic are champions for democracy and good governance in the Kisumu area. So I am joined by Honorable Pamela Awori.
Thank you, Madam Ashiko.
And next to her, we have Honorable Nerea Okombo.
Thank you, Madam Ashiko.
We are also joined by Honorable Karen Othiambo.
Thank Madam Ashiko.
And finally, we have Honorable Nancy Matara. I am honored that each and every single one of you could take time off your busy schedule to join me on the Dadas Show Kisumu Edition. So to get the ball rolling, I will start with you, Honorable Pamela. First of all, our hearty congratulations for clinching the coveted seat. I always say victory for one woman is victory for all of us. Now, in your opinion, what is the state of women or female participation in Kisumu region between the past general election and this general election?
Thank you, Madam Ashiko. My name is Pamela Awori. I'm a member of Kisumu County Assembly representing Migosi Ward. I came into politics in 2010. During the 2010 Constitution. In 2010, I went round my ward talking to the women and advising them on what is in the Constitution. And during that time, is the time I came to the limelight in politics. Then in 2013, I was nominated by ODM ticket to the County Assembly of Kisumu. And during that time, about 7 women were elected into the assembly. And in 2017, I tried vying. I did not make it, but 6 women were elected into the County Assembly of Kisumu. And in 2022, I vied and I got the seat. And we are 6 women who have been elected into the assembly. And in the assembly, we have a deputy speaker who is one of the panelists in the assembly. And during that time, during the election, many women, nearly all wards, there was a woman who was contesting. And that really showed that women really wanted to be leaders in this, in the leadership spaces. The number of women who have come out to vie, I think it is increasing. It is not diminishing, it is increasing. It shows women are being enlightened into leadership and they need to be there, many of them, so that their voice, their spaces and their problems can be met. And I would also want to say that as the women come out, we need somebody to amplify the voices of women. Maybe a media station to talk about women and to show what the women are doing so that other women can see that there are women already in our space. And what about us? Can we join them? So even the women who are in this space, they should do something. Hold the hands of other women. Help to train other women. Do something that will make women come out and be in this space.
Thank you so much, Honorable Pamela Awori. That is really, truly inspirational. And it's obviously very motivating because we do understand that the trend and the upsurge of women participation has increased countrywide and more so here in Kisumu. So my next question is to you, Honorable Nerea Okombo. Of course, like your colleague, Honorable Pamela mentioned, you are the Deputy Speaker. And on top of all that, you are our MCA for Manyata B. So now, when we, and of course, congratulations, because this This is a very male-dominated space, the roles that you hold right now, currently, as we speak. They are very male-dominated spaces from very male-dominated regions. What are some of the barriers you have experienced to get to where you are? You know, tell us about your journey.
Thank you, Ashiko. Once again, my name is Nereo Kombo. I'm a member of the Kisumu County Assembly representing Manyata B Ward and the Deputy Speaker, Kisumu County Assembly. My journey began as a social worker and a human rights activist with the local CBOs and lobby groups like Kefiado. And my coming into politics was, I can say it was more of, they say, a picky-ponky thing. Yes. Yeah, it was a matter of trial and error.
Yes.
And actually, when I was getting into politics, it was like some kind of fun that I wanted to play. And then along the way, I found myself in the middle of it. I could not reverse. Yeah, that was in 2012. Yeah, some friends of mine just told me, "No, I know you can do it. Yeah, there is a vacuum in your ward, and can you try going for the MCA now that the Constitution 2010 is giving women space?"
Yes.
And I said, "Why not?" And I went through the nominations. I got the ODM ticket. Went through the general elections and won the seat.
Yes.
I served as the pioneer MCA Manyata B between 2013-2017. I lost to a fellow woman who was then nominated. And I came back in 2017 in the same ward. We as women, personally as Nerea, there have been so many hurdles. Number one being, can I say social capital?
Yes.
Yes, as women, we need to create, that solid capital, yeah, that you'd have a solid backing, and especially of women and youth behind you,
yes,
to push through, because during politics, men, by virtue of their natural economic empowerment, they are a level higher than us. You get them selling their property, getting money to buy their way in. So what a man would, a journey a man would travel within 2 days, a woman need to start traveling like a year before. So it's, you get challenges of men trying to, box you out, elbow you out, even within the party ranks. So number one, do you have a connection with your party or whichever vehicle you want to use to the position that you're eyeing? That is very key. Your relationship with fellow women,
yes,
within, not only in politics, but within the region, that can help you lobby. Because, for instance, by being the deputy speaker was influenced by so many factors. Women in different outfits in Kisumu came together and they said, no, Nerea is interested in this. First of all, at the assembly, we need to support one of our own to get this.
yes,
And then women in social arena also came up and said, look, Nerea, we are helping you get this. And so we lobbied, yeah? It didn't just happen. We really lobbied. And so you have to get serious networks. Number one, you have to get economically stable and then have a relationship with the political outfit that you want to use. to scale up to the level that you really want.
Okay. Thank you so much, Honorable Nerea. That is well, that is well. You've completely given us a look into your journey and how you were able to mitigate it. I like the fact that you have, the 3-point rule about getting your social capital, getting support from your political, outfit. And of course, just lobbying, supporting every single person and having, of course, the resilience that only a woman can have. So our next question is to Honorable Karen Odhiambo. Now, there's like most communities in Kenya, this is a community where culture and tradition plays a very, very huge role. And of course, some customs can even buy you from vying for political office. But here you are. So how did you get here? How are you able to mitigate some of those things? Because I know that they are very deeply entrenched in the region.
Okay, thank you, Ashiko, for having me. First, I joined active politics in 2013 when I was nominated by the community to represent them in the CDFC, that is Constituency Development Fund Committee in the MP's office. During that time, I learned a lot. I listened. I empathized with the community. So in 2017, the same community told me to try my luck. I went to the ballot, but unfortunately, I didn't make it to the county assembly. Same community again were behind me. They supported me, they encouraged me, they advised me. So in 2022, I was in the ballot again. And here I am sitting in this panel as a honorable member. I'm a Luo by tribe. And Luo community is a culture full of customs. Before, the kitchen was our place. Our work was to cook, wash clothes, was to take the care of the family. But I'm happy, things have changed. Even before I was born, we had leaders like Grace Onyango, who became a mayor in Kisumu municipality. We had people like Fiba Sio, and even right now, we have leaders like Honorable Ruth Odinga, who was the first woman to be deputy governor in Kisumu County, and now our women rep. We also have people like Rosabuyo, Honorable Rosabuyo, who was the women rep before Ruth. So things have changed. And as women, we have come out to look for our space. I can say I'm lucky. Why am I saying so? Because my predecessor was a woman, is a woman, and he has been in politics for 40 years.
Wow.
So she's my mentor.
Yes.
We discuss a lot. And if I look at them, I say I can also do it. That's why I came out in 2022 to vie. So my husband is the one who introduced me in politics. So I didn't have a big challenge in my house. He was my advisor. And my advice to my fellow women, or those who will vie later on, if you want to vie, before you make a move, sit down with your family. Tell them what you want. Tell them what to expect. Ask for their support. They should be your #1 supporters. That's when you will move smoothly. So this happened with my family. I thank them for everything. They were behind me, they were with me. My husband gave me the necessary support. And it is not easy. Communication is key. In any marriage setup, a woman is not allowed to come back late at night when the family is asleep. But you should communicate when you're in politics. You call them, you tell them, I'll be late. I'll come back maybe around midnight. so they know what to expect. So communication is key. And if we compare the number of women who got into political seats, this time there are more. So it is a progressive.
It's a progressive. So it's safe to say that the community at large is embracing.
Yeah,
It had started a while back. Of
Yeah.
course, if you're talking about your predecessor having
Yeah.
4 years experience.
40 years.
So 40 years,
Yes.
sorry,
Yeah.
experience. So
Yeah.
that means that the community. So the stereotype around that, Kisumu region, Nyanza region, women cannot vie. So the message back home and to the rest of the country is this is an equal opportunity space.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Honorable. So we're going to move next to Honorable Nancy. So you were just nominated, okay? But more so, and my focus right now is to the role that you have held as the chairperson of the Kisumu County Assembly Women Caucus, meaning that you hear all sorts of complaints. You are responsible for bringing the women together, and so you are best placed right now to know what are the complaints of this region, not just your own region. What are the complaints of this region? How do we get on? How do we do this? And of course, now, do you feel what areas, from your own professional opinion, what areas in Kisumu do you feel have the least female participation, and what can you attribute to that?
Thank you, Madam Asiko. Before I talk about the women caucus,
Yes.
I want to say who Nancy is. Honorable Nancy Matara Ochieng is a mother, is a wife, and a politician. My journey started long time ago when my dad died. And when a friend of my dad came to mourn with us, he said something like, "Oh no, you've gone without seeing the reign of Jaramogi." Then I felt it and I say, "You're going to see it within me." But by that time I was just 25 years when my dad died. Then after that, I met my husband, and my husband was also a politician. Then I said, this is the platform that I want to use now. I joined politics as I'm now the organizing secretary of Women League ODM National, but my position didn't come just from the national. It came from the grassroots. I'm a grassroots political leader.
Yes.
I started from the grassroots. I climbed up to the national. But what I want to say, it's a challenge for seeing a woman to rise within a lower community. But it's you to bring your head high, to walk your head high. There are things that are going to be said. Lowering your pants to be in that position, who cares? I lower my pants. It's not yours, if that's the case, which is not. But whatever they want to hear, let them hear. Yes. But as for the women caucus, this one we want to establish a gender-based gender activities
Yes.
to promote and champion gender and equality issues in the community. This is a platform that is going to give the female county legislators to have a voice.
Yes.
Before you could not call me here, who was I? Now I have a voice because I'm nominated. This is the place where we're going to lobby for the welfare of the women and their issues. And I think this platform will make us rise. If we decide to come together as women, because we can do it. We are more than men. However much they still demean us, because they fear. You find women always tend to fear when they've seen the men are out. But if you want to clean that post, be like a man. You are a woman, but be like a man. Let your voice be heard. Even if something irrelevant, shout. You'll be heard. Then everybody will turn their head to look, who is that? Then the next time, they'll vote you. Oh, she can make it. She can make it. And that's how you rise. And to me, this is the time. Because even if you see now, when you are campaigning for now the elected leaders we have now,
Yes.
almost each and every ward had a female candidate. Of now, women are embracing power. And it's only women legislators who can articulate issues of women and youth
Yes.
more than men in the society. Because they know what people are going through. Actually, I don't want to demean the men, yes.
Yeah.
But as mothers, we have that pain. We have that passion to take care of the community. And when we are talking the community, we are not talking about only women and youth. We are all talking even including the men.
Exactly. So when people always talk about a woman, you see, you educate, you empower a woman, you empower a community.
Yes, that is
and
true.
a society at large. So I want to ask each and every represented member here of County Assembly to be able to tell me what is in their plans before we go to brief, just before we go on a break and get into the question and answer session. What is your plan for your people, and primarily women and youths and children? You know, we all fall under the same group. So I'm going to start with you, Honorable Pamela. You know, what, as you begin your term, what should people expect from you?
Madam Ashiko, in my manifesto, there were many agendas. One of my agenda was on women and youth. Most of the youths and the women are not employed. And many of us are just doing small-scale businesses to put food on the table. So my number one agenda was to come up with a fund through the county government of Kisumu that will enable the SMEs, the women who are doing small businesses and the youths get some little fund.
Yes.
That can empower them to do their business as well. Secondly, second on my agenda was health. In many occasions, people who are suffering when there is no proper health are the women and the children. And apparently in this county, my governor is very passionate about health. And in my ward, I have a dispensary. It is not a dispensary per se, it is a health center where you can hospitalize people and they do outpatient also. So in my agenda, I wanted to upscale that health center, to put it in the agenda and in the budget of the county government, that when the women wants to go to the hospital, they find a place they can run to. I wanted that place to be 24-hour operational, such that with a resident doctor, such that if there is an emergency at night, they can handle. If there is any emergency, they can take to a referral hospital, which we have within the county. So I wanted an ambulance to be in that place, a resident doctor, a doctor's quarter, so that we have an operational health center. Thirdly, I was to deal with drainage and environment, to ensure that the environment is clean and the drainage, we have a working drainage that can create a healthy environment.
Those are very key issues. You know, you've touched on unemployment, you've touched on health, and then finally on, of course, you know, drainage and pollution. Thank you so much, Honorable Pamela. I'll move to you, Honorable Nerea. I'll pose to you the same question. What are the key changes? Let's have 3 key changes that you want to put in place especially to encourage women participation in politics, in governance, in leadership, just to uplift women? What are some of the key changes that you want to put in place?
Okay, thank you. The key changes that I want to put in place, number one, have to be considered in regards to my electorate,
Yes.
who are my bosses, actually. And I want to say, as an ODM AMCA, yeah, my manifesto was largely borrowed from the 10 Azimio agenda and customized to the unique needs of Manyata-B residents. Number one, I represent a semi-urban area, mostly slum, and very, I can't say very poor, but not so advantaged. So my number one consideration goes to food security. Yes. And currently I'm working on a concept on the same with Maseno University, that is Dr. Ombok and Professor Midega. We are almost done, and we've planned for a launch. This will take care of women and youth empowerment. Yeah, it is a project that will actually take care of most of the needs of our people. There is also a concept we are doing for a child fund. In short, I'm trying to create networks out of the government of Kisumu County Assembly, Kisumu County government network, so as to complement what we already have.
Yes.
My colleague has talked of a fund, that is the Kisumu County Trade Fund, that will help our women do something that will help them depend on themselves. Yes, that is what we are doing, is to complement what we already have. Number two agenda is having said I come from an area that is semi-urban and largely slum. Most of my residents, I can say, especially youth, are jobless. A big number is, I can say, are people who, even if Kisumu County were to employ, they would not get a chance, meaning they don't have the required minimum education to get white-collar jobs.
Yes.
So we want, and that one also increases the level of insecurity. So addressing youth employment would also, again, address the issue of insecurity in Manyata-B.
Yes.
And lastly, my colleague has addressed the issue of health. But then we have the facilities, yes. But the health services at times have to be paid for. So mine was to create a space where people would be self-reliant in terms of medical services. And this very concept we are developing is going to address the issue of health cover, health
Yes.
insurance, also to address the issue of, every now and then somebody is coming. I have a child who is been held up in the hospital for lack of payment.
Yes.
Somebody died maybe a month ago, can't be buried.
They've not
because
been able to bury them. Let me
yes.
interrupt you, Honorable Nerea, because I feel like we've captured quite a lot. We've talked about food security, We've talked about the child fund, SMEs, and of course, just trying to elevate the whole constituent so that we can reduce cases of insecurity, which is primarily related to the fact that most people are jobless and they're looking for a way to feed themselves. So we are going to take a small break right now, have a glass of water. We are under the beautiful Kisumu sun. And then once we come back, we will continue with Honorable Othiambo and Honorable Matara, who will tell us what they have, the key features of their manifesto moving forward as we jump into the question and answer session. Don't go too far away.
Lately, we've not trust men's voting because they preach wine and going there they don't deliver, and with the sympathy of women they understand. And lately, if you can see, even I see there's changes compared to men.
Long time ago, women could not be lead, but this time we hope that the leadership of women are very much important for the community because they indicate so many things in the community. They can brought us so many things, especially in the gender system. That's why I can vote for the women of leadership.
Women wanakumbuka the situation, the way people are suffering.
The women have made it to governorship or something of the sort, like one of the Luo Nyanza County being headed by women like Homa Bay, where Gladys Wanga is the current governor of Homa Bay County. Okay, I'm seeing the Kenyans have made a bigger step as far as the politics is concerned, as far as the women in politics is concerned.
Welcome back to the second part of the Dadas Show Kisumu Edition. Our topic of discussion today is women in politics around the region. So we've had an opportunity to interact with 4 formidable ladies who were able to clinch the seat and are doing wonders. Right before the break, we were talking, we were getting at least, some 3 points from the manifesto, what should be expected. We had already had an opportunity to speak to Honorable Pamela, Honorable Nerea, and now just to wind us up before we get into the question and answer session, I'd request Honorable Karen Athiambo and Nancy Matara to give us 3 points or 3 key changes that they intend to implement upon, now that they are in office. So, Honorable Karen.
Okay, thank you, Madam Ashiko. During my campaigns, I promised the electorates to empower them, sana women. And this I'll do through my networks, sourcing funds, and then through the trade fund in the county. Number 2, through the bills we are passing in the assembly, they have to be the ones favoring the women. Number 3, for the lucky few girl child, I'll continue to pay their school fees for them not to drop out of school due to lack of school fees.
Wonderful. Yeah. I like tangible things where we can be able, members of her constituent can actually put her to task and come back and say, you said this on the Dadas Show, you will be able to do ABCD. Because I believe accountability is something that is very key for every single person who's been given the kind of position that you have. Yeah. So moving on to you, Honorable Nancy, give us the key changes or key implementations that you would want to put in place now that you're in office.
The first one is to promote table banking. Okay. Through table banking, women can save from that, and they get their own capital. You want to give support to agricultural projects initiated by women, yes, so that women not like for the food security. Mm-hmm. And thirdly, we want to empower the girl child education. Those are the only things.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I am thoroughly impressed. If we bring together all the key changes and implementations that my ladies here, the honorable ladies want to put in place, I am envious of the residents of Kisumu, because I see nothing but blue skies for everybody residing in the area. So let's get straight into the question and answer sessions. I am sure that there are many people who would want to ask our panelists some questions, especially since some of, they represent you. So to start us off, we have a question from Amina. Amina?
Thank you, Shiko. I take this opportunity to thank Kefiado. My questions go to Karen. I just want to understand, how will you empower the women economically? Because I heard most of you saying that you had a constant challenge during your campaigns. What will you do to empower the women in the community economically?
Thank you so much, Amina. Amina has a question for Karen. Madam Karen.
Okay, thank you, Amina. I'll just repeat what I've just said. I'll do it through the trade fund. And at times, I go deep into my pocket. Mina is a voter from my ward, and I'll start by her. I'll give her something from my pocket. And next time when we come back here in Dadas Show, she'll testify.
Yeah. Wow, okay. Well, I hope that was sufficient for Amina. I mean, I'm definitely envious of Amina right now. We will have our second question, which will be from Mercy. Mercy.
Good afternoon to you all, ladies, and I thank God for this day and for Kifiado for this opportunity, and Madam Ashiko for taking your time all the way to host this show for us. So my question goes to Honorable Nerea. You talked about creating self-reliance for medical purposes for the girls, for the young women and the women at large. So my question is, how do you plan to do that while on the ground it is that the Linda Mama, which has been helping women so far to deliver safely in hospital, and the universal health that actually has seen people get medication and a treatment for as less as 20 shillings is getting scraped off. So how will you push for that?
Good question to Madam Nerel.
Thank you. I talked of a concept that would address most of our social economic issues as the residents of Manyata Bay. And I want to say that the concept we are doing is a practical initiative that will empower our women, our youth, and the general public to be self-reliant, that they can also, out of their own earnings, pay for their own health covers. So this project is at an advanced stage. We have the seed capital, and what is remaining is just to operationalize it, which we are doing before end of this year. So when that is done, and we are going to do this in partnership with Steamer Sacco and other organizations. And I believe by mid next year, the issue of waivers for our children being held up in hospitals will be, if not a matter of the past, then shall have been substantively reduced. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Maria. I like the approach of, don't give a man fish, but teach them how to fish. Because I think at the end of the day, self-reliance is always the answer to most of the issues that plague our society. Now, we will move on to the third question, and the third question is by Elizabeth.
My question goes to Madam Pamela. You talked about in your agendas during the campaign about the SMEs funds for women and youths who are in the business. What are the qualifications, or how are you going to be giving these funds? Like, do they have insurance, and what are you going to look through? for the youth to be able to get their location.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Elizabeth. We talked about SMEs, the youths and the women, the empowering of the youths and the women. We are going to give funds through groups, individually, and already on the ground. We have selected a few youths and even a few women through the ward admin and the village admin, so that they are trained on how they are going to use the funds. They are being trained right away on how they are going to use the funds that are coming, on fund management, on how they can use their monies, how they can keep the money, buy their goods, and then keep their profit, how they can manage their statements so that they are honored by those who are giving out the monies or even the banks. And we are also even looking outside the box on how we can get funds from the county or from outside the county.
Wow, that's wonderfully answered. And it's good to see this is not a project that they're saying is about to start. It's already ongoing. And of course, as they're getting their pioneers, then we will come back and we'll put them to task to tell us what has been the turnover. And of course, Elizabeth can bear as witness and say, she spoke about it and it happened. So we will move to our next question. Our next question is from Irene. Irene?
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm called Irene Anyango. I'm a champion of a sport for change in a team called California Ladies. I'm there as their coach. Question goes to Honorable Nancy.
Honorable Nancy Matara.
This is my question. I've heard you talking about fund allocated for women and other parties. Is there any fund allocated for girl child with talent? And if it is there any way or qualification for that fund to every girl child to get it?
Good question. In the space of arts and sports, everybody will talk about other things, but space of arts and sports, kindly.
Thank you, Irene. It's good that I'm the chair of the sports at the assembly. And what I want to assure you, there's a policy on my desk now, yet to be rolled for public participation. And I would like you to always attend the public participation. Always we leave public participation to the older people. Yet the young ones, who are the people who are supposed to gain from it, doesn't attend the public participation. Apart from that, you can always visit the office of the woman rep of your county, because they do have also Sports for Change funds. You can get funds from them through the NGAF, National Affirmative Action Fund. They can sponsor you to gather such funds. And also, at the executive, the gender office. If you go at the gender office, you can be directed. So the most important thing is always try and go for a public participation. Madam Chico, I wanted to say something we I didn't mention before. Yes. Actually, I want to say there's a narrative that women are their own enemies. Me being here is because of one woman, who is none other than Honorable Ruth Odinga. Me being here is none other than Esther Okech of Kifiado. She did a lot in my life. Me, as you see me, I'm a nominated politician. My husband was a first pioneers with Honorable Madam Speaker. So in our house, we are 2 MCs square. Yes. Wow. My husband is former, and now I'm the current.
Yes.
Yes. And I want to tell you, this journey I started, like I'm saying, I forgot to say about it, but being my nomination, I got it now, In 2013, I was number 72 on the newspaper.
Yes.
In 2017, I was number 33. I didn't give up. Then in 2022, I was number 2.
Wow.
On the list.
Wow.
And so I want to give a thumb up that we can do it.
Yes.
With the women. Because me being here is not a man. I don't want to say it's a man. It's not a man. It's a woman.
It's a woman.
Yes.
And I love that. I really do love that. And I think that that is normally the notion of the show, you know, creating a platform where women, you've talked about women who stood by you as your sisters, as your dadas, so that you can be able to achieve your goals. And I keep wondering what the world or the country would be like if we would put aside our petty differences and hold each other, you know, be the person who's lifting your sister up, not pushing her down. We are going to go to our final question of the session today, and it will come from Zach. Zach is right there.
Thank you. I'm Zach. Well, first of all, congratulations to the honorable ladies for clinching their seats. My question, I will direct it to Madam Director. The other day, the honorable governor was naming his CECs, and to us as taxpayers, we felt that the representation, the 2/3 gender rule was not met. As leaders, have you put the governor to task up to this level? Thank you.
Brilliant question. Of course, the Constitution has given out the 2/3 gender rule in the nominations. Do you feel like that was honored?
Yes. First, when the list was highlighted, the governor had just started with this list. He had not finished with his cabinet positions. So thereafter, he gave a list that was complete, and gender was taken care of. There was a 2/3 gender rule in the list. We had 4 women in the list and 6 men.
Wow. So the 2/3 gender rule, so we jumped the gun. But I am
And even
happy.
the court case has been lifted.
Yeah, I'm very happy that people are accountability partners. Everybody is going to check. Nobody is sitting down and letting, people just take advantage of them. So no one is going to sleep on the job, I believe, in this particular region. Madam Nerea, you had something to add?
Yeah, just to add on what my honorable colleague said, Honorable Nancy.
Yes.
On youth empowerment, currently at the office of the Director Youth, that is Mr. Junior Omondi, there are funds, youth responsive and women funds, that are currently being issued. My friend can just walk into the youth office, ask for a form to fill in and wait to be funded. But now you have to come up with a viable business plan to help you get the fund. There are no securities needed. You being a youth is security enough.
And having a plan.
And having a plan is
Yes.
security enough.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Nerea. I feel like this has been a very informative session. We did one prior to the elections, and it's always good to touch base with our dadas across the country to find out how are we faring. Just to reiterate that the Dadas Show is here for you. So we were here when they were getting nominated, when they started their journeys, and now we are here as they've gotten into office. We even celebrate the ones who are not able to clinch the position. My note today, actually, I want to borrow from something that Madam Nancy has actually talked about in terms of sisterhood, and turning back and thanking the people who have worked with you and acknowledging the people who have worked with you as sisters, not only in the Kisumu County but all over the country. Let us get to a point of appreciating each other, lifting each other, and that is always the motivation of what we do. Let us support each other in whatever journey we are taking, be it political, be it as an entrepreneur, be it in school, be it in corporate Kenya. I do not have much to add because I feel like the women have completely, talked and promoted. There's a spirit of sisterhood that we feel here today on set. So on behalf of my team, my production and my technical team at KBC, our location partner, Ciala Resorts here in Kisumu, and of course myself, Ashiko Mbune, I wish you all a lovely week. And remember, a woman with a voice is by definition a strong woman. I'll see you all next Sunday, same time, same place. Bye-bye.